And today we are going to do CompTIA A Plus Core 1 Practice exam questions. And first question is, a company wants to enforce a stricter security policies on all corporate laptops, including data encryption and remote wipe capabilities. Which features should be enabled? Windows Defender Firewall, Safe Mode with Networking, BitLocker and Microsoft Intune, Secure Boot, or Local Group Policy Editor. Which one would be the correct answer to this question? And here the correct answer is BitLocker and Microsoft Intune, as BitLocker encrypts data and Microsoft Intune allows remote management, including remote wipes. A technician is troubleshooting a Windows PC that fails to boot and displays the error operating system not found. The hard drive is detected in BIOS. What should be done next? So, as you can see, the problem here is the technician is troubleshooting a Windows PC that fails to boot. So PC which we are troubleshooting is failing to boot and it is displaying an error operating system not found. And here you should know that operating system and all our files, which are long-term files, they are being stored on HDD or SSD. And next gives us a clue that hard drive is detected in BIOS. So this means that BIOS sees the hard drive connected to motherboard. However, we are having this issue. So what should be done next? Check the boot order in BIOS, replace the SATA cable, run the Windows Memory Diagnostic tool, perform a clean installation of Windows, or disable fast boot in BIOS. And here the correct answer is check the boot order in BIOS, as sometimes in BIOS you could be booting from the wrong hard drive or hard disk drive or SSD, because operating system might be stored on another one, on another hard drive which is connected to your motherboard. So first what we would do, we would open BIOS and we would check with the boot order from which HDD or from which SSD it is booting our PC, whether our operating system is installed on that particular hard disk drive or solid state drive. If the hard drive is detected, but Windows does not load, an incorrect boot order might be causing the issue. A remote user reports that their VPN connection frequently drops, as remote employees are not experiencing the same issue. What is the most likely cause? So, we have a computer, we have a user, for example, which is working from home and he is using VPN to connect to company servers, to company data, and he is experiencing some issues. However, the other employees who are also using, or for example working from home, they are also using VPN or virtual private network connection to connect to the company data, company servers, but they don't have any issues. So what is the most likely cause for this problem or for this error for this particular one user? Outdated VPN client software, VPN server overload, incorrect DNS settings, the user's home ISP connection, or an expired digital certificate. And the most likely cause here could be the user's home ISP connection, as if only one user is experiencing VPN drops, their home internet connection is likely unstable. Actually, I said here a little bit wrong. I was interpreting it as user has this VPN connection that he can't connect, but actually what the question was asking, connection frequently drops. So always pay the attention, because I'm reading this also myself for the first time, guys. I'm doing this test with you for the very first time, but in general, Always, whenever you are in your real exam, make sure that you read and understand the question, like I'm always mentioning in all my videos. Whenever you are doing your CompTIA exams, always read the question, understand, and make sure that you have understood and pay attention to all details. And the more you will be doing these practice tests for yourself, not only watching my videos, like I'm mentioning also, whenever you are preparing for these exams, do as many as you can these practice tests, and Skill Test Pro is one of the best resources to do that, as they have very close questions to real exam questions. And next question, a technician needs to install Windows 11 on a laptop that currently runs Windows 7. The laptop does not meet the TPM 2.0 requirements. What is the best course of action? Upgrade the laptop's motherboard, install Windows 10 instead, disable secure boot in BIOS, use the third-party tool to bypass the TPM requirement, or increase the system RAM. So here, what is the best course of action if we would want to install Windows 11 on laptop which runs its Windows 7 operating system? And here the correct answer would be, and you should also know, that the best option would be to install simply Windows 10 instead, as Windows 11 requires TPM 2.0, which many older laptops lack. If hardware upgrades are not feasible, installing Windows 10 is the better option. A user complains that their computer is running extremely slow after installing a recent software update. So, user's computer started performing slowly after he upgraded or installed updates. Task Manager shows high disk usage, but no single application appears to be consuming excessive resources. What is the best troubleshooting step? Reinstall the software update, increase virtual memory, paging file, perform a factory reset, disable startup programs and reboot, or replace the hard drive. So which would be the best option to perform in this scenario? And the best thing to do would be to disable startup programs and reboot, as high disk usage can be caused by too many background processes, especially after an update. Disabling unnecessary startup programs can improve performance. A user connects a new external hard drive to their laptop, but Windows does not recognize it. The drive appears in Device Manager, but not in File Explorer. What should be done first? Replace the USB cable, initialize and format the drive in Disk Management, update the laptop's chipset drivers, disable antivirus software, change the boot order in BIOS. So, which one would be the best thing to do? And the correct answer is initialize and format the drive in Disk Management, as if a new hard drive is detected in a Device Manager but not File Explorer, it likely needs to be initialized and formatted in Disk Management. A technician is configuring a new router and needs to restrict access to only approved MAC addresses. Which feature should be enabled? MAC address filtering, port forwarding, VPA3 encryption, DHCP reservation or DHCP reservations, or QoS settings or quality of service settings. And here the correct answer is MAC address filtering, as MAC address filtering allows or blocks devices based on their unique hardware address. A user reports that their laptop randomly shuts down even when the battery is full. After running hardware diagnostics, no issues are found with the battery or charger. What should be checked next? The Windows registry settings, hard drive firmware updates, overheating issues, BIOS sleep timer settings, or network adapter power management. Which one is the correct answer here? And here the logical and correct answer is overheating issues, as if a laptop randomly shuts down, overheating is likely cause. Thermal shutdowns protect the CPU from damage, as our motherboard has built-in self-protection pretty much for hard drive components, or no, sorry, not for hard drive components, but for hardware components, to shut down, to not damage them if the computer system is overheating. What is the purpose of heat pipe in a laptop? Provides additional grounding for the motherboard, helps to power the GPU, increases laptop battery life, transfers heat from the CPU to the cooling fan, or protects against ESD. So, what is the purpose of heat pipe in a laptop? And here, make sure to see that we are talking here about laptop, not about PC computer or desktop computer or work machine or system. You can call it in many different ways in IT. And here the correct answer is that it transfers heat from the CPU to the cooling fan. And this is the correct answer. And heat pipes move heat from the CPU to the cooling system. So from our processor to the cooling system. What is the main function of an IMAP email server? Deletes emails after download, synchronizes emails across multiple devices, encrypts all email transmissions, provides cloud-based storage for email, or converts text emails to HTML. So what is the main function of an IMAP email server or IMAP email server? And here the correct answer is that it synchronizes emails across multiple devices, as IMAP allows email to be synced across devices rather than being downloaded like POP3. What is the characteristic of an SFP plus transceiver compared to regular SFP? So, difference of SFP plus between and SFP simply without plus. It uses Cat-E cables instead of fiber, provides PoE or Power over Ethernet capabilities, allows only single-mode fiber connections, supports wireless transmissions, or it supports speeds up to 10 gigabits per second. So what is the difference? And what is the correct answer for this question? And the correct answer is that it supports speeds up to 10 gigabits per second, as SFP Plus is an enhanced version of an SFP and supports 10 gigabits per second speeds. What RAID level provides redundancy using striping with parity? And here you also, like I'm mentioning in all my videos, you should know these four main RAIDs, which is RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 5 and RAID 10. Whenever it comes to RAID 3 or RAID 6, those you will not have in your exam. So which one would be the correct answer for this question? And here the correct answer is RAID 5, as RAID 5 uses striping with parity, allowing data recovery if one disk fails. What wireless frequency allows for the longest range in home networks? So now we're talking about longest range in home networks. So which would be that wireless frequency? 5 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, 6 gigahertz, infrared or Bluetooth? And here the correct answer is 2.4 GHz. As 2.4 GHz, Wi-Fi provides longer range but slower speeds compared to 5 GHz. A user complains their laptop keyboard intermittently types double characters. What should be checked first? CPU clock speed, the refresh rate of the display, laptop's cooling system, the RAM speed, or sticky keys in Windows settings. And the correct answer here is sticky keys in Windows settings. As sticky keys or key debounce issues can cause double typing on a keyboard. A technician replaces failed RAID 5 drive. What is the next step? Format all drives in the array. Replace all drives to ensure uniform performance. Start the RAID 5 rebuild process. Delete and recreate the array. Or upgrade the RAID controller firmware. Which one would be the correct answer here? And here the correct answer is start the RAID rebuild process. As in RAID 5, after replacing a drive, so in RAID 5, when you are replacing a drive, the array rebuilds using parity data or data. A technician is troubleshooting a network cable run that is experiencing high latency and packet loss. What tool should be used? Punch down tool, loopback adapter, Wi-Fi analyzer, thermal camera, or time domain reflectometer or TDR. Which one is the correct answer? And you should also, as a technician, which if you are planning, obviously if you are going for CompTIA A Plus exam, you are planning to become an IT technician, or you want to build your own PCs, you should know also everything about tools which IT technicians, IT support use. So which one would be the correct answer here? And here the correct answer is time domain reflectometer or TDR. A TDR detects cable faults, breaks, and interference by measuring signal reflection. A desktop computer fails to boot and emits a continuous series of beeps. What is the most likely issue? Faulty RAM, corrupted boot sector, overheated CPU, disconnected hard drive, or dead CMOS battery. And here the correct answer, if we are having like a continuous series of beeps, that could be faulty RAM. However, it depends on manufacturer of computer. Keep this in mind that beeps, frequency of beeps and amount of beeps, how many beeps are there, that could be also implemented by manufacturer. Always check also the manual for your computer or your motherboard to see how many beeps and what they mean in that particular setup or motherboard. And faulty RAM, like I mentioned, so continuous beeping usually indicates memory RAM failure. What network device converts analog voice signals into digital signals for VoIP communication? Modem. So here we are looking simply what network device converts digital signals into, analog signals. You can even ignore voice because those are analog signals, which is pretty much sound, into digital signals, which is into stable, like IT, pretty much signals, IP, or things like that, into digital signals, guys. And you should also be aware and understand what is analog signal and what is digital signal, and what are the differences between these two for your CompTIA A Plus and in IT in general. As many times you will also hear that there are still like analog cameras or video cameras, and now, for example, your company is going to change them to digital cameras with digital signals, and you should be able to identify. If you don't know it, also search it up and check it, guys, what are the differences, because you will need this also in your IT career. So answers are modem, VoIP gateway, firewall, router, or patch panel. Which one would be the correct answer here? And the correct answer here is VoIP or Voice over IP gateway, as a VoIP gateway converts analog phone signals into digital packets to transmission over a network. A laptop's battery is swelling, causing the trackpad to bulge. What should the technician do first? So your battery is pretty much big, is getting big, and it is swelling in your computer, causing the trackpad to bulge. So this means that your trackpad is coming out of its place. What should the technician do first? Continue using the laptop until it stops working, perform a BIOS update to fix the battery issue, drain the battery completely before removing it, store the battery in a cool place to shrink it, immediately remove the battery and dispose of it properly. What would you do as a technician? And always remember, guys, whenever it comes with batteries, with swelling batteries, with increasing batteries, with any problems what are related to batteries, first thing what you will do is you would remove that battery. You would throw it out, you would take it out. So immediately remove the battery and dispose of it properly. So, and you would throw it out properly, as this can cause also to damage, as battery contains like different chemicals and it can also explode. So whenever it comes to batteries, whenever there is some real problem when it is swelling, you are removing it immediately. So immediately remove the battery. A swollen battery is a safety hazard and should be removed immediately to prevent damage or fire. And it doesn't matter whether it's on mobile devices, mobile phones, or laptops, you should always, whenever it comes to battery, remove it. What tool is best for testing voltage output from a power supply? Multimeter, postcard, tone generator, crimper, or cable tester. And sometimes maybe you don't know the correct answer, but you still know some tools which are outlined, for example, in your exam question. So check those tools which you understand and what they do, and that way you would be able to also find the tool which you don't know for your exam. So what is the best testing? What is the best for testing voltage output from power supply? So now we're talking about power supply. So what would be the best for testing from all these tools? And the best answer obviously is multimeter, as a multimeter is used to measure voltage, resistance and continuity in electronic components including power supplies. A technician is replacing a laptop's Wi-Fi card, but after installation the laptop no longer recognizes any networks. What is the most likely reason? So we are replacing NIC or network interface card, and after replacing this Wi-Fi card there is the problem that that card or that PC anymore is not able to recognize any network out there. So what is the most likely reason for this? The BIOS needs to be reset, the laptop battery needs to recalibration, the wrong type of RAM was installed, the Wi-Fi antenna cables were not connected, or the CPU thermal paste was improperly applied. So what would be the correct answer here? And the correct answer is that the Wi-Fi antenna cables were not connected. As also always remember to connect the Wi-Fi cables. And if you know, for example, in laptop, the Wi-Fi cables, where they are located, where is your antenna located? It is located in your screen or at the top of your screen. And most Wi-Fi cards have antenna cables that must be properly connected to function. So always, whenever you are replacing Wi-Fi card, always remember to connect back the antenna cables to that Wi-Fi card. A user installs new NVMe SSD in their laptop, but it is not detected in BIOS. What is the first step to troubleshoot? Check if the drive is seated properly in the M.2 slot, reinstall Windows from a USB drive, replace the laptop's RAM modules, update the laptop's Wi-Fi drivers, or install a secondary power supply. Which one would be the correct answer here? And the correct answer is check if the drive is seated properly in the M.2 slot. And NVMe SSDs must be properly seated in the M.2 slot to be detected in the BIOS. And as you know, guys, as I'm always highlighting this all the time, that you have your BIOS, and BIOS is mainly kind of software which is responsible for all your hardware which are connected to your motherboard. A user reports that their desktop computer powers on, but no display appears. The monitor and cables are confirmed to be working. What is the most likely issue? Faulty RAM, disconnected SATA cable, corrupted BIOS, dead GPU, or failing power supply. Which one would be the correct answer here? And here the correct answer is dead GPU, as if a system powers on but has no display and the monitor is working, a dead GPU or faulty display output is likely cause in this scenario. So, next question. A technician is troubleshooting a laptop that does not charge when plugged into a non-working AC adapter. What should be checked next? The laptop's Wi-Fi adapter. And like I'm always mentioning, guys, whenever you are approaching the answers or answer options, always understand the question. If you don't understand the question, you will read the question, you will read the answers, and you will create a chaos in your head, because you will have this information in your head and you will have this information in your head, and it will be starting to confuse you. And anyway, after you will return back to the question and will start understanding it again. But the best option is to start first, understand the question, understand the problem, whatever it is, and look for clues in the question, and only then, once you have that understanding or good understanding what the question is asking, only then approach answers. And here the answer options are laptop's Wi-Fi adapter, the DC jack on the laptop, the BIOS battery settings, the laptop's USB ports, or the operating system's power plan settings. Which one is the correct answer here? And here the correct answer is the DC jack on the laptop, as if the laptop is not charging, the DC jack may be loose or broken, preventing power from reaching the battery. A laptop's display suddenly turns off. So display suddenly, for some reason, turns off on our laptop, but the system continues running. And here we still keep hearing that our laptop is running, so vents maybe are running, the light is still on, so we identify that our laptop is still on. However, display for some reason turned off. Adjusting the brightness keys has no effect. So first what we do, we try to adjust the brightness somehow, but it does not affect anything. What is the most likely cause in this scenario? And always when you get the questions, you have understood the question. When you get these options, answer options, if you don't even know the answer, sometimes you can, just by using logic, figure out the correct answer. So let's go, guys. The answer options are the GPU is overheating, so that could be the problem. The LCD panel is disconnected, also could be a problem. The laptop's battery is faulty, also could be the problem. The BIOS needs an update, or the backlight inverter has failed. So, most likely cause in all of these could be that backlight inverter has failed, as the computer is still working, so nothing to do with GPU or LCD panel that is disconnected, because why would it disconnect? The most likely answer would be the backlight inverter has failed, as if the laptop screen goes dark but the system is running, it's likely the inverter or backlight failure, especially on older LCD screens.